Hello explorers, welcome to another video.
Hello again, and we are today going to talk about creating different voices with very little input data. So in this little video I will talk about how to create different voice data using very little input. And there is a lot of different interesting projects out there that actually does this. And one thing that I found out when I talked about this with my community here, I got one question here from C. Rollins, and he actually answered me when we talked back and forth. I suggested he go into a program called 15.ai, and that was what I run just now. And he said, thanks to your answer, Daniel. 15 looks interesting. However, they don't seem to publish the code. I haven't found exactly what I've seen a couple of months ago, but while searching I found this, which is pretty close and also quite interesting. And I will publish the link in this video so you can go into and look at that video on that GitHub repository, because that gives you a really interesting result for this project. But if we jump over here to my screen, you see that I just ran this little 15 example here. So if you go to 15.ai, you can actually run a different voice print for a lot of different characters from known entities. And they have used very little input data, just a few phrases from those different enterprises, and they can actually recreate audio. That sounds very good. So if you want to play around with this and see how it works, you can do that. The thing we're going to look at today is this real-time voice cloning. And it uses very little input data, as little as 5 seconds, and then goes through that data and tries with a pre-computed and learned network to optimize that network to actually create a new voice that sounds like that voice. And this video on this page here is very impressive, and I have downloaded this and I added a lot of different libraries and so on. It has a require script, and if you run that through, you will have TensorFlow GPU, you will have librossa, you will have matlib, and so on. A lot of different. And I found out that I already had librossa, so I had to update that again. I already had TensorFlow GPU, so I will updated that as well to the latest version. It also requires you to install PyTorch, which is the other one of the networks from I believe it's Facebook's that's behind that. So it uses a lot of different technologies, and it actually does 3 different things. It does let's see here. It has a WaveNet for natural audio synthesizing. It has a Tachytron, which we have looked at earlier, and it also has a speech verification. So it does this with a synthesizer, a vocoder, and an encoder. So it does a lot of different things in succession to get this working. And there is a demo toolbox, which he runs in his video. I've tried to start that up, but in Windows it can be a little bit challenging because I didn't get Qt to work well. It uses PySide, Qt4 or Qt5. I have Qt5 installed and that doesn't work. I installed PySide as well. It didn't work either. If you get it to work, it's really fun and interesting. But I got demo CLI to work, and that's actually something that he says you should try out first. You should run that so you see that everything is set up and that you actually get the different libraries working. And I got, as I said, some issues there. I had to search on those, update some libraries, and in order to get it to work, but I have it working on my computer. So let's go over here, and I can also look fastly here at the actual project, because you have on the page a link to a pre-trained network where you get these directories here. And if you just unpackage that into this directory, it will add a model into the different libraries or the different functions in this project. So that is what you need as well in order to get this to work. So let's just run Python. Then let's see here, it was demo CLI py. Run that script. And this should go through and set up the different machines that are actually working with the sound. So it will set up the encoder, the vocoder, and the synthesizer, and the different networks that are required to run this. I will see if this works well on my CPU here. I think it will use a little bit of GPU as well, but as I'm recording, that might be an issue. It didn't take that long time to actually get this up and running on my machine earlier when I wasn't recording. So I will skip here and see when it's actually are loaded. And we are back, and I just want to go up here and show you a little bit in the beginning, if we can go that far. So up here where we started the script, it looks for the different networks here. So you have 3 different networks. It loads and it runs through here and tests the encoder, the synthesizer. You get a lot of issues here because of old libraries. And then it will set up the vocoder here, and that's a tachotron model and so on. But it does a lot of things testing the vocoder here, and all tests have passed. So it does a lot of things for you. Then I have added this mentor here. So I had this dramatic reading of the mentor. So this is the audio clip for that. And then I have written in this little sentence here, hello explorers and welcome to another video. So let's see how it does when it actually has gotten through and created this little sentence and tries to mimic my voice in order to say that specific sentence. I have said it 200 times already in my different videos. So let's see how this specific network will do with this example.
Hello explorers, and welcome to another video.
So that was that voice print. It wasn't really close to my voice. It was a little bit off, but it actually sounded like somewhat human at least. So that was good. So this was what I wanted to tell you today, or to highlight to you today, that there are some different projects out there. They're trying to do this. Sadly, this project that we have been looking at here is made by this Quarantine J, and he has gone off and actually started to create specific software for voice printing that is used for different enterprises. So he will not work on this project anymore, but it's still interesting to see that there is some kind of state of the art here. You see, it's about 9 months ago that this was updated, and actually he have updated the README very recently, but other than that, it's a very old project. There is newer projects out there and people are working on it. Some of the projects are closed source. You can actually not look at it, but we have looked at Tachotron before, And this encapsulates a lot of different technologies that we have used before and does it in a way that they are a bit easier to actually get up and running. I hope that you found this video interesting. I hope that you perhaps learned something today. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. If you have any comments on this video, leave them down in the comment section down below. And I really hope to see you in the next video.